good. It's good to be back with you guys and see everybody's smiling faces. And first of all, shout out to the Little League Softball World Series champions. That's awesome. My daughters all three play softball at Sarah Law, and so I got to know some of those kids out there, and just an amazing group of girls and what they've been able to accomplish. And just my wife and my family were at the game yesterday, and I got to walk out there for the very last out. Saw it a little bit on TV from the office here, and just the way this community and the way the city of Greenville supports, our local sports, our community, our youth leagues, and also East Carolina. Just what an awesome place to live, and it's been a really special place. And I think I tweeted that out yesterday, but that was just, kudos to those girls and those coaches and the whole city of Greenville that made that happen and just put on the World Series as well. So just wanted to start with that.
Coach, starting week 3 of camp, just how would you kind of assess where the defense is right now?
Yeah, I told the guys, I said, hey, we've made improvements, we've made steps, but we got a long ways to go. We got 19 days for our first contest, and we got to grow a lot between now and then. I mean, if we don't get any better this week, we in trouble, and we got to keep every single day stacking days, making improvements, individually, collectively, as a group, and as a football team. And there's, you can focus on me, which is good, but you got to focus on our defense. You got to focus on our team and our program, and everything you do matters. How you attend meetings, how you sit in a meeting, how you attack a meeting, to pre-practice, to a drill, to a team setting, and then taking care of your body. So it's more than just, hey, I'm going to go out and have a great practice. It's a 24/7 thing that we got to keep growing.
Ask Coach Houston about tackling you. Is that something if you got it week 1, or can you figure it out during the preseason? He said he was a little disappointed Saturday, but I'm sure you expect that to improve.
Yeah, I think we always, you go out and you finally get a chance to evaluate yourself. You're going to find some things you're not happy with and disappointed in, and I think one of those was tackling. You kind of go May, June, July without tackling anybody, and you get back about 3 or 4 practices tackling. And that's obviously some things going to stand out. But if we want to be our goals and we want to be a really good defense, I think we got to be really good tacklers. And some of that is, just pursuit angles, poor footwork, some effort things that we got to continue to focus on. And I think the only way you get better at tackling is by tackling. I mean, you can do all these little drills in summertime, all these little drills in your shorts and your little helmet on, but until you get the pads on, until you take somebody to the ground, that's the practice it really takes, and you got to get that work in. So we got to continue to focus on that this week. We did that in our shells today. We'll be full pads tomorrow and Wednesday, and get some other opportunities to focus on that. And I told the guys, there's no in between. You can't be an average. You're either a good tackler or a bad tackler. There's no in between. And the guys went and attacked that today, and we got to continue to do that tomorrow and Wednesday, and get preparations for scrimmage Saturday.
Coach Mags, he was intense to say the least at times during practice. Just what have you seen out of him coming in with your staff?
Everything you saw from Damon Magazoo as a player is everything you see from him as a coach. And I see the highlights and the clips, and we call him a legend around here. But everything that I've heard about Coach Magazoo as a player, you see it as a coach. A very attention to detail guy, intense, high football IQ, and he wants his players to have that same mentality and the same way he approached the game. And I think with Jordan Huff and Devin King and even some of the younger guys, you can see Omar Rogers, you can see that growing in those guys. So he's been really good for that room. It's great to have a Pirate back on our staff and our defensive staff as well.
When you bring in a coach like that, I mean, obviously he hasn't been in your system. Like, how long does it take him to get caught up to maybe your scheme and the way?
Yeah, I think anytime we bring new guys into the building, no different than we bring a different teammate into our locker room. It takes a little while for that guy to adjust to, maybe our culture or our schematics or our playbook. But I'll say this about Damon Magazoo and even Rico Zachary. I mean, they walk in and you would think they've been here for several years. I mean, they fall right in line with how Coach Houston runs a program. Everything that he believes in, they believe in, the culture piece, and then defensively, schematically as well. They picked right up on it and do a great job of coaching their young men. They're great representatives in their room for their players as fathers, as dads, as husbands, and I think that goes a long way. And did a great job of just building relationships with young men in our program. So that's all you can ask for. If we got great people in our program, great coaches, our players are going to do the same and reflect that.
After the scrimmage, Big Tay said that he thought some guys took some plays off, and he signaled himself out when talking about that. Are the young guys, are they coming along and kind of having that self-evaluation as much as some of the leaders are on this team?
Yeah, two things I would say. So, we early in camp, we still got a long ways to go conditioning. And then our offense, as fast as they go, it'll point that out real quick. And that's, going to be an advantage for us as well. And the heat jumped on us a little bit on Saturday. Those are probably the things that kind of was a factor of that. But, if everybody could walk into the program and they could protect that culture, that effort-based defense, playing as hard as you can play every single snap, then this thing would be easy. But that's not the standard, and the standard's way up here for those guys, and that's why Big Tay told you that. Like, Big Tay has a standard that he's going to play all out every single snap, and if he's not going to give you that, he's going to be straight up with you. And our kids aren't going to lie about it. They're going to say, "Hey, Coach, I took one off there. I got to be better there," and they're going to go get it fixed, and they're going to strive for excellence because that's, they want to be the best in our conference. They want to be the best in the defense, and they understand what that takes, especially the older guys. The younger guys, they keep coming along. We have our side of the ball meetings in here defensively, and these first two rows are older guys, 4th, 5th, 6th-year players. They already know what I'm going to talk about. Everything I say, they finish the sentence. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th rows are young guys, first-year guys in the program. Maybe a second year, they're still learning, but every day you can see them kind of, hey, they're getting the hang of it. They're coming more, getting more of in the fold there. So we got to keep bringing them along and keep building that depth and keep, closing that gap between them and the older guys.
Last year, you guys were really good in the red zone. You looked good in the red zone on Saturday. Where do you think this team is compared to last year with the red zone defense?
Red zone's a toughness thing. And I think, like, I talked to get the guys this morning, it's not just mental toughness we got to play, or physical toughness we got to play with, but mental toughness. In the red zone, you got to be mentally tough. You can't worry about last play. They hit a big play to Winston, how they get down there, whatever it may be. It's time to keep points off the board. I say if you hold team to field goals, they go kick 5 field goals. It's going to be it's going to be a tough day for them. And if you keep touchdowns off the board, so we got to have that same mentality. Red zone defense, 3rd down defense, takeaways. It's got to be the big things that we focus on.
Y'all have worked, D Nash at corner a lot this preseason. How's he doing there? And could he still play some safety too?
Yeah, Dontavius Nash can do a lot of things. He's a very talented young man. He understands the game. He can play corner. He can play safety. He can play nickel. We've got a lot of 3rd down stuff going in this week, so he's going to play some different spots back there. Just been really impressed with him. He's put a stripe on his helmet to kind of be more disciplined with his eyes, and he's got boxing gloves on his hands, so don't grab and pull. So he's making himself be more disciplined. Just really proud of Nash and what he's been able to accomplish, and been moving around. I think that's the ultimate team guy, is a guy that understands I'll play anywhere for my team, and just really proud of him right now and what he's doing back there. And he's got to keep growing, keep progressing. And he's came a long ways in the last, 10, 12 days, 14 days, whatever it is. But we got to keep making those steps to the process of, hey, where we want to be August 31st.
How did the verbal communication with Barker go on Saturday?
Yeah, the player to coach, or coach to player. Zakai probably like to turn that thing off at times. And I ask them, and they're very honest with me. I think it saves you a few times, especially if you get somebody misaligned, getting somebody lined up, or but I'm not sure Zakai really needs it. Zakai, he knows everything. Like, he called a play out before it. Well, he calls multiple plays out before they ever happen. But he called it out before I ever saw it. But it's helpful. Especially just getting a call in quicker, getting us lined up quicker, those type of things. The one thing Zakai told me, and I think we talked about this, is if it's tempo coach, just give me the call and that's all I need. Sometimes you can give them too much information. No different for. If me and you are in the 3-point contest and somebody's trying to tell us how to shoot the basketball right in the middle of our shot, right. We don't need it. We don't need that coaching. We just go play. So
seems like Day is starting to maybe click a little bit too for him.
He looks like a different young man than he did in the spring. I think we're starting to see a very talented linebacker and Day Wilson. Damian Wilson just can move around. He's made some really good plays, just tracking the football and toss play. The ball that was picked up on a fumble, he was doing really. He's showing that he can run too, tracking the football, starting to pick up on it, feeling more and more comfortable in our defense. And we see that a lot from transfers. They come in mid-year, they go through the spring, and they just look okay, because they're trying to figure it out, not really playing fast. And by the time summer goes around, you get through another install, they get around the guys, they feel more comfortable in the locker room and the classroom, and then you see it come fall. I mean, we could, DJ Ford, BJ, all those guys before, the same thing. You go through the spring, it's like, then you come in the spring, the fall, like, okay, he's going to be a guy. I think certainly Day, if he keep growing and keep progressing, he will be.
Any other young guys, whether it be redshirt freshmen, new guys that are kind of maybe starting to show a step up?
Yeah, I would say, you're always careful to talk about freshmen. But one young man's been really impressive is Jamarley Riddle. He's been playing field safety for us. Comes from a very good high school program, Camden County High School down in Georgia. A good friend of mine, Jeff Herron, coached him. But he's just done a really good job back there, communication, really good fluid movement skills. And, he looks like he's been here for a year. Obviously you always worry about freshmen hitting the freshman wall, but, knock on wood, so far he's a guy that, fans wouldn't know about that kind of caught some coaches' eyes, and he's earned the respects of his teammates for sure.